The human princess faced the alien princess, then chose alliance over war. The sky was painted in shades of gold and violet, and the soft wind carried the scent of flowering trees from the palace gardens below. Life on Celestia had always been calm and orderly, and Lyra had grown up believing that her world would remain peaceful. Yet today a strange feeling fluttered in her chest. Something unusual was coming, something that might change everything. The morning had started like any other. Advisors had discussed trade agreements, engineers had reported on the city's energy grids, and the people of Celestia had gone about their daily routines with cheerful normality. But as Lyra walked through the grand hall, a sudden alert flashed on the palace communication crystal. She approached it, curious, and the image of a distant spaceship appeared, shimmering in the sky beyond Celestia's atmosphere. The ship was unlike any human craft. Its surface was smooth, almost liquid in appearance, and it reflected light in colors that Lyra had never seen before. There was no sound as it descended, but the energy around it made the palace walls hum faintly. The advisors around her gasped, whispering fears of invasion and attack. "Princess," said Minister Darrow, a cautious man with silver hair and a stern expression, "we should prepare defenses. This could be the start of a war. We cannot trust unknown aliens." Lyra turned to him with calm eyes. "I understand your concern, Minister, but rushing into fear is not the way forward. We do not yet know if this is a threat or an opportunity. I must meet them myself." The council murmured in surprise. Many had expected Lyra to order the Celestian Guard to ready their weapons, but she had always been different. She believed in understanding before conflict, in communication before judgment. She had been raised to think, to question, and to seek solutions that others might overlook. Minutes later, the grand gates of Celestia's palace opened, and the visitors arrived. From the shimmering ship descended a figure both graceful and strong, moving with the quiet confidence of someone accustomed to command. She was tall, with delicate features and skin that seemed to glow faintly under the sunlight. Her eyes were a striking shade of deep violet, and her hair floated as if moved by an invisible current. This was Princess Kayla of the Zythurians, the alien race known across the nearby systems for their intelligence, their technology, and their mysterious ways. Lyra's heart skipped a beat, not with fear but with curiosity. She had read of the Zythurians in historical records, how their cities floated in orbit around dying stars, how they could bend light to their will, how their diplomacy was as precise as it was clever. But this was the first time she had ever seen one in person. Kayla stepped forward, bowing slightly, a gesture both alien and familiar. "Princess Lyra of Celestia," she said, her voice melodic and calm, "I come with a message from my people. There is a danger approaching that threatens both our worlds. I hope we can speak as equals for the future of our civilizations." Lyra returned the bow. "Princess Kayla, your arrival is unexpected but welcome. We shall speak. Please come with me to the palace gardens, where we can talk freely." The advisors exchanged worried glances. Some whispered about the risks of speaking with aliens without security present. Others muttered about the history of humans underestimating foreign powers. But Lyra ignored them, leading Kayla through the marble corridors to the gardens outside. The gardens were vast, with crystal-clear fountains, flowering trees, and walking paths that curved gracefully around the palace. Birds chirped and small creatures scurried through the undergrowth. Here, Lyra felt at peace, and she hoped it would help Kayla feel the same. They walked side by side, observing the beauty around them. Silence lingered for a moment, but it was not uncomfortable. Finally, Lyra spoke. "Princess Kayla, I must admit your people are known for incredible abilities. Your arrival is both an honor and a surprise. Please tell me about this danger you mentioned." Kayla nodded. "There is a cosmic storm, larger and more unpredictable than any previously recorded. It moves through the galaxy at great speed, and its energy is unstable. It can destroy planets, disrupt communication networks, and even affect living beings in ways we cannot fully predict. My people have been studying it for decades, and it is heading directly toward this sector of space, toward Celestia and my homeworld." Lyra frowned, her mind racing. She had seen storms on her planet before, violent weather that could topple cities or ruin crops, but a storm in space, one that could threaten entire civilizations, was something entirely different. "And you believe we can stop it?" she asked carefully. Kayla shook her head slightly. "Not alone. The The storm's energy is too vast for either of our peoples to manage individually, but together, there is a chance to redirect or stabilize its flow before it reaches critical intensity. Lyra considered this. So you are here not as an enemy, but as a potential ally. Kayla's expression was serious. Exactly. I seek cooperation, Princess Lyra, but I understand your caution. Trust must be earned, not demanded. The words resonated with Lyra. She had always believed that strength came from understanding, from finding solutions together rather than fighting apart. She felt a spark of hope that perhaps this meeting could prevent conflict, not ignite it. Then we shall take the first step, Lyra said, smiling gently. Let us observe and learn from each other. For now, we can explore Celestia together. You shall see our cities, our technologies, our people. In return, I hope you will share your culture and knowledge with me. Kayla's eyes brightened. I would be honored, Princess Lyra. Over the next several hours, Lyra guided Kayla through the gardens, showing her fountains that reflected sunlight into patterns like constellations, and trees whose fruits could glow softly in the dark. They spoke of art, music, science, and philosophy, learning how each civilization approached life differently yet shared similar dreams, curiosity, creativity, and harmony. Though their communication required translation devices for some concepts, both princesses found ways to understand each other. A smile here, a gesture there, or a shared laugh over a misunderstanding bridged the gap. Lyra realized that while the Zythurians were alien in appearance, they were not alien in thought. Kayla was clever, thoughtful, and genuinely concerned for her people's future. By evening, the palace gardens were bathed in the soft light of Celestia's twin moons. The air was cool, carrying the scent of night-blooming flowers. Lyra and Kayla stood near a fountain, watching the water sparkle in the moonlight. There is potential here, Kayla said quietly. Potential for peace, for understanding, for a future where our peoples do not fear each other. Lyra nodded. Yes, but potential alone is not enough. We must prove that our cooperation can work, not just for ourselves, but for everyone who depends on us. Tomorrow, we shall begin small tests, small projects to see how our technologies and ideas can complement each other. If we succeed, we may build a foundation for something greater. Kayla smiled, a rare, soft expression that seemed almost human. I look forward to it, Princess Lyra. As they parted for the night, both felt a quiet sense of determination. They were no longer just rulers of their respective worlds. They were pioneers, standing at the threshold of a new era. The path ahead was uncertain, filled with challenges and doubts, but one thing was clear. They had chosen to meet curiosity with courage, to seek understanding rather than conflict. In her chambers later that night, Lyra gazed at the stars. Somewhere out there, Kayla was likely doing the same. The cosmic storm loomed closer each day, but Lyra no longer feared it alone. She had found a companion in the most unexpected form, an alien princess who shared her values, her hopes, and her willingness to try for something greater. The first part of their journey had begun. The meeting of two princesses from worlds apart had not led to war, as many had feared. Instead, it had opened the door to something more powerful, the possibility that humans and Zythurians could face the unknown together. And as Celestia slept under its twin moons, the winds whispered through the palace gardens, carrying a promise. The story of Princess Lyra and Princess Kayla was only beginning, and the galaxy would soon witness a tale of courage, wisdom, and friendship that could shine brighter than any star. The morning sun rose over Celestia, casting gentle light across the city as Princess Lyra prepared. For the day, the palace was quieter than usual, as many citizens were still asleep, enjoying the calm before the daily bustle began. Lyra, however, could not rest. Her mind was alive with thoughts of Princess Kayla, the alien visitor who had arrived only yesterday. The memory of Kayla's calm violet eyes, her quiet confidence, and the strange, shimmering ship that had brought her here filled Lyra with a mixture of excitement and anticipation. Today, they would begin their first collaboration. Lyra had invited Kayla to explore the city, to see firsthand the technologies and innovations that had made Celestia prosperous. She wanted Kayla to understand her people, to see not just their strength, but their creativity and curiosity. And in return, Kayla had promised to show Lyra something of the Zythurian way of life, a glimpse into a civilization that had always been shrouded in mystery. Kayla arrived at the palace gates promptly, her shimmering robes catching the early light, creating faint reflections that danced across the marble floors. "Good morning, Princess Lyra," she said, her voice calm and warm. "I am ready to see your world." Lyra smiled. "And I am ready to learn from yours. Come, let us begin with the city. There are inventions and ideas I think you will find interesting." They left the palace together, walking through streets lined with buildings that reflected both beauty and function. The architecture of Celestia was unique, designed to harness sunlight and wind, to minimize waste, and to create spaces where people could live in harmony with nature. As they walked, Lyra explained the principles behind the city's design, pointing out buildings with energy-efficient systems, gardens built into rooftops, and fountains that recycled water without ever wasting a drop. Kayla listened attentively, her eyes scanning the details with fascination. "Your people are very clever," she said. "You find ways to solve problems that my people might overlook." On Zytheria, efficiency is valued above all else, but sometimes creativity is sacrificed for perfection. Your balance is remarkable. Lyra blushed slightly at the compliment. "Thank you. We believe that progress is not just about technology, but about how it serves people. Innovation without purpose is meaningless." As they continued, they passed a marketplace where citizens traded goods, shared stories, and demonstrated new ideas. Lyra introduced Kayla to inventors and artisans, each eager to demonstrate their work to a foreign princess. A young engineer showed a solar-powered transportation vehicle, while a group of artists created moving light sculptures that reacted to music. Kayla's expressions ranged from awe to curiosity, and she asked questions that revealed her deep understanding of physics, energy, and engineering. In return, Kayla invited Lyra to step onto her hovering platform, a small craft powered by a combination of light field energy and anti-gravity propulsion. As they lifted off the ground, Lyra's heart raced with excitement. The city below shrank, and the horizon stretched endlessly, showing not just Celestia, but the vast landscapes beyond, rolling hills, sparkling lakes, and forests that seemed untouched by time. "This is incredible," Lyra whispered, holding tightly to the platform. "Your technology, it feels alive, like it understands the world around it." Kayla smiled. "On Zytheria, we do not simply build machines. We teach them to observe, to respond, and to adapt. Technology is not separate from life. It is part of life itself." After their flight, Kayla brought Lyra to a secluded garden in the city outskirts, a place that combined natural beauty with Zytherian technology. Trees glowed faintly in the light, and water flowed along invisible channels, creating patterns that shifted with the breeze. Lyra could sense the energy flowing through the garden, subtle but powerful, and she realized that Kayla's people had mastered a form of harmony between nature and technology that was breathtaking. "This is unlike anything I have seen," Lyra said. "It is beautiful, yet it feels purposeful. How do you teach your technology to live with nature?" Kayla's eyes sparkled with pride. "We do not control it. We observe, we guide, and we adapt. Life is a teacher." Even in the smallest details, the way light touches a leaf or water moves through soil, there are lessons. Our machines learn from these lessons, and so do we. Lyra was silent for a moment, letting the idea settle. She realized that this philosophy could benefit her own people, that perhaps Celestia's technology could become even more connected with the world around it. Their afternoon was filled with experiments and demonstrations. Kayla showed Lyra a small device that could absorb solar energy and convert it into light patterns, creating images and messages without any physical screen. Lyra responded by demonstrating Celestia's energy grids, showing how her engineers could store and distribute power efficiently across the city. They worked side by side, combining their approaches to see what might happen. To their surprise, when the Zytherian device interacted with Celestian energy, a pattern formed in the sky, glimmering light that spelled out a message readable from below. Both princesses laughed in delight at the unexpected success. "It seems our ideas complement each other," Lyra said, her eyes bright with excitement. Kayla nodded. "Yes, together we can create things neither of our peoples could achieve alone, but this is just the beginning." As the sun dipped low, casting long shadows across the city, the two princesses sat on a balcony overlooking the central square. Citizens below had gathered, curious about the alien visitor and her human companion. Children waved and merchants smiled, sensing the unusual but peaceful presence of two leaders working together. "You see," Lyra said, "our people are cautious. They fear the unknown. But when they see cooperation, when they see friendship and mutual respect, they begin to understand." Kayla's expression softened. "Trust is built slowly, but once it exists, it can overcome fear. Your people are wise to see that, Princess Lyra." Many civilizations would have reacted with hostility. The evening brought a challenge they had not anticipated. A series of small energy fluctuations appeared across the city's power grids, subtle but noticeable. Lyra's engineers had been monitoring them, and though they were minor, the disturbances could indicate a larger problem. Kayla examined the data with her own instruments. "These fluctuations are unusual," she said. "They may be caused by interference from the approaching cosmic storm. Alone, either of our civilizations would struggle to stabilize it." Lyra considered the possibilities. "Then we must combine our knowledge," she said. "Tomorrow we will begin work to understand these patterns fully. If we succeed, it could be a sign that cooperation is truly possible." That night, the two princesses held a meeting with their advisors, careful to ensure transparency while maintaining trust. Many were skeptical, fearing that the alien presence was a threat. Others were cautiously optimistic, impressed by Kayla's intelligence and Lyra's calm leadership. Through careful explanation, demonstration, and diplomacy, Lyra and Kayla convinced their people to allow continued collaboration. They emphasized observation over reaction, understanding over fear, and communication over conflict. Slowly, the council began to see the potential of an alliance, even if tentative. The next day brought further opportunities for learning. Kayla guided Lyra through simulations of the cosmic storm, showing how energy flowed and how small adjustments could influence its path. Lyra offered suggestions based on Celestia's energy management techniques, creating new strategies that neither princess had considered before. Working together, they discovered that combining human ingenuity with Zythurian precision could stabilize minor disruptions in the energy patterns. Though they were still far from controlling the entire storm, the success was encouraging. Both princesses realized that their partnership could be more than symbolic, it could be practical and effective. Beyond the science, Lyra and Kayla also shared stories. Lyra spoke of her childhood, running through Celestia's gardens, dreaming of exploring the stars and imagining what lay beyond her world. Kayla spoke of her upbringing on Zythuria, learning to balance logic and creativity, and the desire to build bridges between civilizations that had never known each other. Through these conversations, a bond formed that went deeper than diplomacy. They began to trust one another, to respect each other's perspective, and to appreciate that despite their differences, they shared fundamental hopes for their people and their worlds. As the second evening fell, Lyra and Kayla walked along the palace terraces, watching the twin moons rise over the horizon. The city lights reflected softly on the water below, and the air was filled with the quiet hum of life. "It is strange," Lyra said, "how quickly trust can grow when people are willing to listen." Kayla nodded. "And how fragile it can be if trust is broken. That is why our actions matter more than words alone. We must continue to prove our commitment to cooperation." Lyra smiled. "Then we shall. Together we can face what is coming. I believe in that, Kayla." The princesses parted that night with a sense of purpose. The cosmic storm loomed in the distance, growing stronger each day, but Lyra no longer felt fear alone. She had found an ally, a friend, and a partner in facing the unknown. And Kayla, too, felt a rare sense of hope that this alliance could change the fate of both their worlds. The city slept under the twin moons, unaware of the bond forming above it. Two leaders from distant stars, united not by obligation, but by choice. They had taken the first steps toward collaboration, showing that even the greatest challenges could be faced without conflict, through understanding, creativity, and trust. As Lyra looked at the stars that night, she whispered to herself, "This is only the beginning. Together we can achieve what neither of us could alone." Kayla, far above in her chambers, felt the same thought echo in her mind. Across the distance between their worlds, a quiet promise had been made. They would face the storm as one, and perhaps, in doing so, create a future where humans and Zythurians could thrive together. The first days of observation and collaboration had passed. Curiosity had led to understanding, and understanding had begun to build trust. For Lyra and Kayla, the path ahead was still uncertain, filled with challenges that would test their ingenuity, patience, and empathy. But they had discovered something vital: the power of working together, of combining strengths, and of believing in a shared future. And so, as the night deepened, the two princesses rested, knowing that tomorrow would bring new lessons, new experiments, and new opportunities to prove that alliance could triumph over fear, that cooperation could shine brighter than conflict, and that friendship could bridge even the widest gaps in the galaxy. The next morning, Celestia was alive with activity. Citizens moved through the streets, unaware of the cosmic danger slowly approaching their sector of space. Princess Lyra walked through the palace gardens, her mind focused and alert. Today, she would begin the first major test of the alliance she was forming with Princess Kayla. The previous days of exploration and conversation had built trust, but now it was time to see if their cooperation could achieve something practical, something that could truly protect their world. Kayla arrived promptly, her presence calm and commanding as always. She looked at Lyra with a mixture of determination and curiosity. "Today, we begin the test," she said. "We will attempt to stabilize the minor energy fluctuations that appeared yesterday in your city's power grids. If successful, it will prove that our methods can complement each other, and that cooperation is more than an idea, it is action." Lyra nodded. "We will do this together. Let us show our people that hope is stronger than fear." They entered a large laboratory at the heart of the palace, a room filled with machines that hummed softly and lights that blinked in patterns only engineers could fully understand. Human scientists and engineers were already at work, their faces focused as they monitored the energy grids and recorded data. Kayla's Zythurian aides stood nearby, their instruments glowing faintly as they analyzed the same information. At first, the two groups hesitated, unsure how to work together. The humans were cautious, used to traditional approaches, while the Zythurians relied on methods that seemed unfamiliar, almost alien. Lyra stepped forward, her voice calm but firm. "We are not competing. We are collaborating. Let us combine our knowledge and see what we can achieve together." Kayla nodded in agreement. "Observe, adapt, and communicate, that is the key." The experiment began. The scientists adjusted energy flows, while Kayla and Lyra coordinated the process, combining human energy grids with Zythurian light field technology. At first, the results were mixed. Small surges appeared unexpectedly, and the equipment sometimes reacted in ways that no one predicted. Lyra remained patient, calmly guiding her team, while Kayla adjusted her instruments to compensate for the differences in human systems. Hours passed, filled with meticulous observation, careful calculations, and endless adjustments. Neither princess spoke of failure, only of learning and improvement. Slowly, the energy patterns began to stabilize. The grids that had flickered unpredictably now hummed steadily, responding to the combined control of human and Zythurian technology. As the final adjustments were made, a shimmering field of light appeared above the laboratory, visible through the transparent ceiling. It formed patterns that danced and shifted, reflecting both the human energy flows and the Zythurian light manipulation. Lyra and Kayla exchanged a look of quiet triumph. "It works," Lyra said softly, almost in disbelief. "Together, we've done what neither of us could have achieved alone," Kayla smiled. "Yes, today we have proven that cooperation is stronger than fear, and understanding is stronger than doubt." The success of the experiment sent ripples of excitement through the palace. Citizens gathered outside to witness the light patterns in the sky, and the council members who had been skeptical began to whisper among themselves, their doubts slowly giving way to hope. But the test was only the beginning. The cosmic storm was still approaching, and its energy fluctuations were growing stronger and more unpredictable. Lyra and Kayla knew that this was just the first step in a much larger challenge. Over the next few days, the two princesses worked tirelessly, coordinating simulations and experiments to understand the storm's behavior. They studied its energy patterns, mapped its trajectory, and calculated the potential impact on Celestia and Zythuria. Each discovery brought new challenges, but also new insights. Lyra found that her people's creativity and adaptability complemented the Zythurians' precision and advanced technology. Kayla realized that human intuition and resourcefulness often led to solutions that her people would not have considered. One afternoon, As they analyzed data in the palace observatory, Lyra turned to Kayla with a thoughtful expression. You know, it is remarkable how similar our goals are, even though our methods are different. Both of us want to protect our people to ensure their safety and prosperity. That is a bond stronger than any distance between our worlds. Kayla nodded. It is rare to find such alignment between two civilizations. Many would see only differences and conflict. We see potential, Lyra, potential for something greater. Their work was not without tension. At times, simulations failed and energy flows spiked unexpectedly, causing minor disruptions in the palace systems. Each setback tested their patience and teamwork, but they never gave up. Instead, they approached each problem as a puzzle to be solved together. Their calm determination inspired the scientists and engineers around them, creating an atmosphere of focus and collaboration. One evening, as the twin moons rose over the horizon, Lyra and Kayla stood on a balcony overlooking the city. The light from the moons reflected off the palace walls and fountains, casting gentle shadows. Lyra spoke quietly. Tomorrow, we will attempt a larger-scale stabilization. If we succeed, it will be a clear signal to our people that alliance is possible, that hope is stronger than fear. Kayla's eyes glimmered with resolve. We will succeed, Lyra. But more importantly, we will show that cooperation can overcome challenges that no single civilization could face alone. The following day, the princesses gathered their teams for the most ambitious experiment yet. They would attempt to stabilize a section of the storm's energy directly as it approached Celestia, using both human and Zythurian technology in tandem. The laboratory was filled with equipment, lights, and instruments, all carefully calibrated for the task. Lyra addressed the assembled scientists and engineers. Today, we do not act as two separate peoples. We act as one. Observe carefully, adapt together, and trust in each other. Together, we can achieve what neither of us could alone. Kayla added, focus, communicate, and remember that every adjustment matters. This is not just an experiment. It is a demonstration of what is possible when civilizations work together. The experiment began, and the room was filled with a soft hum as energy flowed through the systems. Lyra and Kayla coordinated every step, their voices calm and clear, guiding their teams through complex adjustments. The energy patterns shifted, twisted, and danced, reflecting the delicate balance between human intuition and Zythurian precision. At first, the energy surged uncontrollably, creating flashes of light that danced across the laboratory. But Lyra and Kayla remained composed, calmly instructing their teams to adjust flows, redistribute power, and synchronize instruments. Slowly, the chaos subsided, and a shimmering field formed above the laboratory, glowing with a steady light. "It is holding," Lyra whispered, her eyes wide with relief and excitement. Kayla nodded, her expression serene. "Yes, the stabilization is successful. Together, we have redirected the energy safely. Today, we have proven that alliance can triumph over fear and uncertainty." The success was celebrated quietly but meaningfully. The council members and citizens who had observed the experiment were inspired, seeing firsthand that cooperation between humans and Zythurians could produce remarkable results. Lyra and Kayla knew that this was more than just a technical achievement. It was a symbol of trust, patience, and shared vision. In the following days, the two princesses continued their collaboration, refining their techniques and preparing for the larger challenges that the storm would bring. They shared stories, laughed over minor mistakes, and celebrated each small victory. Through these experiences, their friendship deepened, and the bond between Celestia and Zythuria strengthened. One afternoon, as they walked through the palace gardens, Lyra asked, "Kayla, have you ever imagined that cooperation could achieve so much, even between civilizations as different as ours?" Kayla smiled thoughtfully. "I have always hoped it was possible, but seeing it with my own eyes is different. It is a reminder that fear is often our greatest obstacle, not the challenges themselves. When we face uncertainty together, we can find solutions that seemed impossible alone." Lyra nodded. "And that is what makes humans special, Kayla. We do not always rely on logic alone. We imagine, we adapt, and we find hope even in the darkest situations. I see now that your people have a similar gift, and together we are stronger than I ever imagined." As the sun set, casting warm light over the gardens, the two princesses stood in silence, reflecting on their journey. The cosmic storm still loomed, growing stronger and more unpredictable with each passing day. But Lyra no longer felt fear alone. She had found an ally, a partner, and a friend in Kayla. And Kayla, too, felt a sense of hope that this alliance could change the fate of both their worlds. That night, the palace was quiet, but the laboratory remained alive with activity. Scientists and engineers monitored the energy flows, continuing to refine the techniques developed by the princesses. Lyra and Kayla worked late into the night, reviewing data, discussing adjustments, and planning the next steps. By the end of Part 3, they had achieved something remarkable. Not only had they successfully stabilized a portion of the storm's energy, but they had also demonstrated to their people that cooperation could overcome fear, uncertainty, and the unknown. The bond between humans and Zythurians had grown stronger, and the first true test of their alliance had been passed. As Lyra and Kayla looked up at the stars from the palace balcony, they knew that the ultimate challenge still lay ahead. The cosmic storm was not yet fully controlled, and greater risks awaited them. But they also knew that, together, they had the power to face it, not as separate rulers of distant worlds, but as partners united by trust, understanding, and a shared commitment to protect their civilizations. And so, as the twin moons cast their gentle light over Celestia, the princesses prepared for the coming days. They had learned that the greatest strength lay not in weapons or dominance, but in friendship, empathy, and the courage to work together. The story of their alliance was far from over, but Part 3 had shown that hope, ingenuity, and trust could achieve wonders that neither civilization could imagine alone. The morning on Celestia dawned clear and bright, but beneath the calm sky, a quiet tension hummed in the air. Princess Lyra stood on the palace balcony, gazing at the horizon where the distant shimmer of the cosmic storm could be seen in the edge of space. It was growing stronger, its energy waves pulsating like the heartbeat of an immense, invisible force. This was the moment the princesses had prepared for, the ultimate test of their alliance, and the greatest challenge they had ever faced. Princess Kayla arrived shortly afterward, stepping onto the balcony with her usual serene confidence. She looked at Lyra and said, "Today we do more than experiments. Today we act. Together we will stabilize the storm before it reaches critical intensity. This is the culmination of all our work, and I trust in our combined efforts." Lyra nodded, her heart steady but her mind alert. "We have come a long way, Kayla. Our people have learned to work together, and we have learned to trust each other. Now we show that trust can achieve the impossible." Inside the palace laboratory, a vast array of human and Zythurian technology had been assembled. Celestian engineers monitored energy grids, while Zythurian instruments analyzed the cosmic storm's movements. Holographic projections displayed the storm's progress, showing its swirling patterns and unpredictable energy surges. The room was filled with a quiet hum of anticipation as scientists adjusted their instruments, checking readings and recalibrating devices. Lyra and Kayla walked among their teams, offering guidance and encouragement. Lyra's voice was calm but inspiring. "Remember, we are not working alone. Observe carefully, communicate clearly, and trust in each other. Every small adjustment matters." Kayla added, "Energy is not just a force to control, it is a partner in our work. Guide it, adapt with it, and it will respond. Focus on understanding, not on fear." The operation began. Human energy grids synchronized with Zythurian light field technology, forming a network capable of interacting with the storm's energy. The first moments were tense, as the cosmic waves surged unpredictably. Lights flickered, instruments beeped, and patterns in the air twisted in ways that no one fully anticipated. But Lyra and Kayla remained composed, calmly guiding their teams through each adjustment. "Increase the stabilizers by 5%, Lyra instructed, her eyes scanning the readings. "Now redirect the secondary flows to the eastern quadrant. Good, maintain the balance." Kayla nodded, adjusting her instruments to complement Lyra's commands. "Light field arrays are responding, redirecting energy to stabilize the turbulence. Focus on synchronization." For hours, the teams worked in harmony, human intuition and Zythurian precision merging to create a network of stability. Slowly, the chaotic surges began to calm. The storm's energy, once wild and unpredictable, formed a steady rhythm, responding to the combined guidance of the princesses and their people. Outside, citizens watched as shimmering light appeared in the sky above the palace. forming beautiful patterns that reflected both Celestia's human technology and the Zythurians' light manipulation. It was not just a display of science, it was a demonstration of unity, a visible sign that cooperation could achieve wonders. "This is incredible," whispered one engineer, eyes wide. "I've never seen anything like it." "Nor have I," Kayla replied softly, a rare smile crossing her face. "This is proof that together we can accomplish what neither civilization could do alone." Lyra and Kayla continued to guide the networks, their coordination seamless. They adjusted, adapted, and responded to every new fluctuation, each action precise yet creative. Hours passed, but their focus never wavered. Each success, no matter how small, strengthened the network's stability, and the storm gradually yielded to their combined efforts. At one critical moment, a sudden surge threatened to overwhelm the system. The room went silent as readings spiked. Lyra's heart raced, but she remained calm, her voice steady. "Everyone maintain focus. Adjust the secondary flow now and synchronize with the Zythurian arrays. We can handle this." Kayla's hands moved swiftly over her controls, guiding the light field energy to compensate for the surge. "Now redirect the balance. Use the harmonics we calculated. Trust in the network." The surge passed, and the room collectively exhaled. The storm had responded to their efforts, forming a stable pattern that hummed gently in space, no longer threatening destruction. Lyra and Kayla exchanged a look of quiet triumph, knowing they had succeeded where neither civilization could have alone. "This is only the beginning," Lyra said, her eyes shining. "But it shows what is possible when humans and Zythurians work together." Kayla nodded. "Our people have seen it now. They understand that cooperation is stronger than fear, and that alliance can achieve what solitude cannot." The news spread quickly across Celestia and Zythuria. Citizens gathered in city squares and public areas, watching the sky and celebrating the achievement. Families cheered, children pointed at the shimmering lights, and council members who had been skeptical now bowed to the wisdom of their princesses. It was a day of hope, a day of inspiration, and a day that marked the beginning of a new era. Lyra and Kayla addressed their people together, standing before the crowds with calm dignity. "Today," Lyra began, "we have faced a challenge that could have divided us. Instead, we chose understanding, collaboration, and trust. Our worlds have seen what is possible when we work together. Let this day mark the beginning of a lasting alliance between Celestia and Zythuria." Kayla continued, "We are not just rulers of our civilizations. We are partners, friends, and collaborators. By combining our knowledge, our creativity, and our determination, we have proven that peace and cooperation are stronger than fear and conflict. Together, we will face the future, and together we will thrive." The crowd erupted in cheers, their voices echoing through the city and beyond. Children waved flags, citizens hugged, and even the council members smiled with newfound respect. The cosmic storm, once feared as a harbinger of destruction, had become a symbol of what was possible through trust and collaboration. After the celebrations, Lyra and Kayla returned to the palace gardens, walking quietly among the flowering trees and fountains. The air was warm, and the soft glow of the twin moons reflected on the water. For a moment the world felt peaceful, as if the storm had not only been stabilized in space but had also been transformed in the hearts of the people. "You were right," Lyra said softly. "Cooperation can achieve the impossible. I never imagined we could succeed so completely." Kayla smiled. "And yet we did. It is a reminder that even the greatest challenges can be overcome when civilizations choose understanding over fear and friendship over conflict." They sat near a fountain, watching the water shimmer in the moonlight. "I have learned so much from your people," Kayla said. "Humanity has a creativity and resilience that is truly remarkable. I hope our alliance continues to grow, not just for practical purposes, but because we can achieve so much together." Lyra nodded. "And I have learned from yours. Zythurians have a wisdom and precision that complements our creativity. Together, we are stronger, smarter, and more capable than either of us could have imagined. This is more than an alliance. It is a promise of shared growth and hope." Over the following days, the alliance between Celestia and Zythuria was formalized. Scientific teams from both civilizations began working on joint projects, sharing knowledge, technology, and ideas. Cultural exchanges were organized, allowing citizens to learn from each other, to experience new ways of thinking, and to appreciate the diversity of life across the stars. The cosmic storm, now stabilized, became a symbol of what was possible when fear was set aside and cooperation embraced. It no longer threatened destruction, but instead inspired new generations to imagine a future where humans and aliens could work together to achieve great things. Lyra and Kayla continued their collaboration, not as visitors or guests, but as partners. They explored new scientific frontiers, developed technologies that could benefit both worlds, and shared their knowledge with those willing to learn. Their friendship became an example, showing that trust, patience, and empathy could overcome differences in culture, appearance, and experience. One evening, as the twin moons rose again over Celestia, Lyra and Kayla stood together on the palace balcony. The city below glimmered with lights, and the soft hum of energy grids and fountains filled the air. Lyra turned to Kayla. "We have done something extraordinary, Kayla, not because of power or weapons, but because of understanding, trust, and the choice to work together." Kayla smiled. "And this is only the beginning. There will be new challenges, new storms, and new discoveries, but now we face them together as allies and friends." Lyra nodded, her heart filled with hope. "Together, we can achieve anything. The future is brighter than I ever imagined." As the night deepened, the two princesses looked out at the stars. Somewhere far across space, the light of Zytheria shone as brightly as Celestia, reflecting the bond they had formed. The cosmic storm, once a symbol of fear and uncertainty, had become a testament to the power of alliance and friendship. And so, the story of Princess Lyra and Princess Kayla reached its first great triumph. Two leaders from distant worlds had faced the unknown, not with fear or conflict, but with curiosity, creativity, and trust. They had proven that humans, and those who choose to work with them, could achieve extraordinary things without violence, and that alliance could shine brighter than any storm. The galaxy had witnessed a lesson that would be remembered for generations. Understanding and cooperation could conquer even the greatest challenges. Celestia and Zytheria were no longer just neighbors in space. They were partners, friends, and pioneers of a new era. As Lyra and Kayla turned from the balcony, walking through the gardens in the soft glow of the moons, they knew that their journey was far from over. There would be new challenges, new discoveries, and new opportunities. But they faced them together, united by trust, guided by hope, and inspired by the knowledge that the greatest power in the universe was not domination or force, but friendship, cooperation, and the courage to choose alliance over war. The night air was filled with promise. For the first time, two civilizations from distant worlds had proven that even the vastness of space could not separate those who chose understanding over conflict. And in that moment, Princess Lyra and Princess Kayla knew that together, they could face any storm, overcome any obstacle, and create a future where hope, trust, and friendship would shine brighter than the stars themselves. The human princess faced the alien princess, then chose alliance over war.